In this video, you will see what is the top 10 must-have units in Halloween update. Every units in this video are all obtainable and not from trading. I do want to know what you think is the best unit in this Halloween update. Remember to subscribe and like, and with that being said, in no particular order, the first must-have unit is Hinami Yotsume. Hinami is one of the newest units added in this Halloween update, and she became one of the best hybrid unit, especially she can be played anywhere with an amazing stats in this Halloween update. In Hinami, Yotsume stats a max upgrade and max level are 197,000 damage with her SPA at 6.4 seconds, making her damage per second at 30,781.25, which is insanely strong as she is a hybrid unit on placement, making her the best hybrid comparing to the other heal units, and especially she is a 4 placement too. How to get Hinami is from opening the brand new Spooky Stars, which you can get by spending candies that you can get from the limited Halloween dungeon at the back of the play area. Hinami Yotsume damage types are physical and air. Alright, next unit is Guts Berserk. Guts Berserk is still one of the most strongest unit with his full AoE, as he will be able to hit both air and ground enemies at later upgrades in this Halloween update. Guts Berserk stats a max upgrade and max level are 326,850 damage with his SPA at 12 seconds, making his damage per second at 27,237.5, which is insanely strong, especially Guts is a full AoE and will be able to hit air enemies at later upgrades. Guts also does an addition of 25% bleeding and 4 ticks, which is the best tick you can have on a bleeding unit. How to evolve Guts to Guts Berserk is by defeating the Eclipse portal, which can be obtained through the Win Him Infinite mode, which is incredibly easy, especially the map is huge, so you can place further back if you are playing solo. Guts Berserk damage types are physical and fire. Okay, next unit is Ain's Overlord. Ain's is one of the best ground unit, as he will be able to hit both air and ground enemies at later upgrades and becomes a full AoE. Sheesh, let's go. Ain's spawns a summoner unit which will deal 1 million damage at max upgrade, which is still insanely good in this Halloween update. Ain's Overlord stats a max upgrade and max level are 345,152.44 damage with his SPA at 10 seconds, making his damage per second at 34,515.24, which is one of the most overpowered damage per second, especially he will be able to hit both air and ground enemies at later upgrades and becomes a full AoE. If I did not make myself clear enough, how to get Ain's Overlord is by awakening the Overlord staff after sacrificing 3 evolved mythical units from Overlord, and how to evolve Ain's Overlord is by defeating the brand new Undead Tome Legend stages, which you will have to continuously grind multiple of the Legend stages, especially you will be needing 10 of each Overlord ring, blue, red, and yellow. Ain's Overlord damage types are magic and dark. Alright, next unit is Griffith Ascension. Griffith is going to be extremely useful in this brand new Halloween event dungeon, so I definitely recommend getting him with Griffith overpowered passive in this Halloween update. Griffith Ascension stats a max upgrade and max level are 20,711 damage with his SPA at 6.3 seconds, making his damage per second at 3,287.46. If you sacrifice buff units, Griffith will turn into Griffith Reincarnation, where it will buff your units by 100%, and you can stack your buff with Griffith Reincarnation, which is incredibly overpowered. If you sacrifice Mythic, Secret, Legendary, Epic, Rare units, Griffith Ascension will become a full AoE DPS unit, which is the most overpowered unit in anime adventures, even better than Dio over Heaven himself. Do keep in mind that Griffith does not have a cap, making him insanely overpowered, so I definitely recommend trying to get your Griffith Darkness damage to 300 plus damage before he transforms, because it will be broken for Griffith to have such an insane amount of damage with him being a full AoE and multi-hit, which will be great against shield enemies, and he is so overpowered for leaderboard runs. Griffith's buff is based on the cost of the unit, which if you have maxed out the units, it will give more percentage of damage buff before Griffith transforms, and his damage types are magic and dark. Okay, next unit is Saber Promise Sword. Saber is still one of the strongest ground unit, especially she is a light and physical unit which will be insanely strong. in Infinity Castle in this Halloween update. Saber Promise Sword stats a max upgrade and max FLR, 382,889.1 damage with her SPA at 10 seconds, making her damage per second at 38,288.91, which is one of the most strongest damage per second ground unit, especially she is a multi-hit at later upgrades, making her insanely good. How to evolve Saber Promise Sword is by defeating the new Fate portals countless of times, which you can obtain through the brand new Infinite mode in this Halloween update. Saber Promise damage types are light and physical, and what I mean by the Infinite mode is by the Fate map. Yeah, you get portals from the Fate Infinite map. Alright, next unit is Usopp God. Usopp is still the best boss killer in this Halloween update. Sheesh, especially he is a hybrid unit on placements, which mean he will be able to attack both air and ground enemies. Usopp God stats a max upgrade and max FLR for 114,182.93 damage with his SPA at 5 seconds, making his damage per second at 82,836.59, which is still the highest damage and damage per second in this game currently. Usopp God is extremely overpowered for Infinity Castle, so I highly recommend getting Usopp God, especially he will be able to carry early waves in any maps. The Usopp God attack types are true damage and air, which he will ignore yellow health and be insanely good for Infinity Castle as it will ignore resistance. Okay, next unit is Law Room. Law is still one of the best ground and support unit in this Halloween update, especially Law is extremely overpowered to bring in Infinity Castle, especially on how surprisingly cheap he is to max upgrade, which will be useful in Infinity Castle, leaderboard runs, and many more. Law Room stats at max upgrade and max FLR, 150,141 damage with his SPA at 5.9 seconds, making his damage per second at 25,447.62, which is insanely good for a support unit as he has an ability at placement called Shambles. When activated, the enemies will be teleported back, which is insanely strong as he is a way better Lulu Gias. Goodbye Lulu, no one knows anymore about him. Law Room will be valuable in Infinity Castle and leaderboard runs with his Shamble ability. The Shamble ability affects air, ground enemies, and bosses, which is insanely good. Law Room is incredibly easy to evolve as you just have to continuously defeat the puppet portal, which are easy to defeat even if you are soloing the portal. The best trait you can have on Law Room is unique as he is a 3 placement. An alternative trait you can have on him are Sniper and Divine, so he will be able to teleport back more enemies with his huge range. Law Room's damage types are Magic and Aqua. Alright, next unit is Chuyo Corruption. Chuya is still the best magic heal unit since he is a multi-hit at later upgrades and having the most overpowered stats despite of him being a 4 placement in this Halloween update. Chuyo Corruption stats a max upgrade and max FLR, 212,000 damage with his SPA at 8.3 seconds, making his damage per second at 25,542.16, which is insanely strong, especially as I have mentioned that he is a 4 placement with an overpowered stat. How to evolve Chuya Corruption is by defeating the new port agency portal countless of times, which you can obtain through a portal, or you can buy the portals from Dazai at the lobby. The best trait you can have on Chuya Corruption is Divine since he is a 4 placement, although if you're going for Infinity Castle, then go for Unique on Chuya. Chuya's corruption damage types are Magic and Fire. Okay, next unit is Zid Shadow. Sid is one of the newest secret limited unit added in this Halloween update, and he became one of the best ground unit, especially he does true damage on placement, which he will ignore resistance, and at later upgrades he becomes a full AoE and will be able to hit both air and ground enemies. Woo 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 woo. Zid Shadow stats a max upgrade and max FLR, 430,000 damage with his SPA at 9.5 seconds, making his damage per second at 45,263.15, which is insanely strong on how high his damage per second, and literally, he is just that guy. How to get Sid is from the brand new Halloween event dungeon, where there is a chance for the unit to be dropped after defeating wave 50, and you can continuously grind, and I wish everyone will get him since Sid is just that guy. He's just so strong. The best trait you can get on Zid Shadow is unique as he is a 3 placement. Zid Shadow damage types are dark and true damage, which means he will be able to ignore resistance. Let's go. Alright, next unit is Fuji Admiral. Fuji is still the best physical heal unit in this Halloween update, especially with him being a 2-hit on placement, making him good against shield enemies and overall one of the best heal unit, bruh. Let's go, Fuji. Fuji Admiral stats are max upgrade and max level are 157,205.43 damage with his SPA at 11 seconds, making his damage per second at 14,291.4, which makes Fuji Admiral the best physical heal unit, especially on how cheap he is to max upgrade with an insane damage, and one of the best shield breaker heal unit as he is a 2-hit placement on placement, bruh, and will do multi-hit at later upgrades. How to evolve Fuji is by defeating the Puppet Portal, which you can get through the Puppet Island Infinite mode. Fuji Admiral costs 66,500 yen to max upgrade one single Fuji, and his damage types are physical and dark. Okay, next unit is Dazai, no longer human. Dazai is one of the best magic ground units. Since that placement, he will get an ability called No Longer Human in this Halloween update. Dazai No Longer Human stats are max upgrade and max FLR 326,000 damage with his SPA at 10.3 seconds, making his damage per second at 31,650.48, which is still insanely strong, especially he is a full AoE at later upgrades, and that is just crazy, bruh. Dazai's ability No Longer Human makes every enemy loses their status, like shield, armored, flying, you name it, for 20 seconds, which is insanely strong. So I definitely recommend trying to get Dazai since he is literally the most overpowered unit. Hello? How to get Dazai is by defeating the new detective secret portal that you can obtain by crafting 4 detective shards, which you can get from defeating the port agency portal. And how to evolve Dazai is beating the new port agency portal countless of times, which you can obtain through a portal, or you can buy the portals from Dazai at the lobby. The best trait you can have when Dazai No Longer Human is unique as he is a 3 placement and his damage types are magic and light. Alright, next unit is Gilgamesh, King of Heroes. Gilgamesh is one of the best ground unit, especially he will be able to hit both air and ground enemies at later upgrades and even on his unevolve, which is insanely strong in this Halloween update. Gilgamesh King of Heroes stats are max upgrade and max FLR 518,000 damage with his SPA at 11 seconds, making his damage per second at 46,666, which is one of the best damage per second unit in this Halloween update. How to get Gilgamesh is by defeating the new secret golden portal that you can get from the normal fate portals. How to evolve Gilgamesh to Gilgamesh King of Heroes is by defeating the new fate portals countless of times, which you can obtain through the brand new infinite fate map. Woot woot! Gilgamesh damage types are magic and light, and the best trait you can have on Gilgamesh is unique as he is a 3 placement. Alright, next unit is Stain Hero Slayer. Stain Hero Slayer is still one of the best damage per second ground unit in this Halloween update, since the ability that he will get at later upgrades is extremely strong. Stain Hero Slayer stats are max upgrade and max FLR 91,870 damage with his SPA at 5.6 seconds, making his damage per second at 16,405.35, which is insanely strong. Yippee! How Stain Slayer Hero works with his ability is whenever Blood Curdle is activated, Stain's damage will deal 3 times more damage to every bleeding enemy inside his range. The ability can crit 4.5 times of Stain's current damage, as well as it stuns enemies for 2 seconds, and his ability is not a global ability, hip hip hooray, which technically you can spam the ability. There is a 10 seconds cooldown on enemies who have been affected by the ability, and the ability cooldown is 20 seconds. Stain Hero Slayer will be extremely good when pairing with bleeding units, especially Guts Berserk, who is one of the most overpowered unit in this update, where he will be able to hit air enemies at later upgrades, making Stain Hero Slayer the best, especially as I have said, when Blood Curdle is activated, it will attack every enemies that are bleeding in his range. Main Hero Slayer damage types are physical and dark. Okay, next unit is Alucard Unholy King. Alucard is one of the newest secret limited unit added in this Halloween update, and he became one of the best ground unit with his overpower ability. Alucard Unholy King stats a max upgrade and max LR, 447,000 damage with his SPA at 8.4 seconds, making his damage per second at 53,214.28, which is insanely strong. What the flip? Let's go, bruh. How Alucard ability works is whenever Soul Restraint level 0 ability is activated, he will be able to spawn enemies and will be scaling with his current damage, which is insanely strong. How to get Alucard Unholy King is through opening the brand new spooky 2023 capsules, where there is a tiny chance for the capsule to drop Alucard, so good luck to everyone who is trying to get Alucard Unholy King. And I definitely suggest trying to get him because he is a limited secret unit, so if you're a collector, go get him. And I can't speak properly because of my braces, I'm sorry guys. The best trait you can get on Alucard Unholy King is unique, as he is a 3 placement and his ability scales with his damage, as I have said. Alucard Unholy King damage types are magic and dark. Finally, the last unit is Koichi Echo. Koichi is one of the best ground and support units, since at later upgrades he will become a hybrid unit and will be able to slow enemies, which is insanely strong in this Halloween update. Let's go! Koichi Echo stats a max upgrade and max LR, 116,811 damage with his SPA at 6.3 seconds, making his damage per second at 18,541.42, which is pretty good, especially at later upgrades. He will be able to slow enemies 80% slower, which is basically a freeze, and he is actually the first unit in a while to hit both air and ground enemies that slows enemies. How to evolve Koichi to Koichi Echoes is by defeating the new raid Bizarre Town countless of times, because you'll be needing 400 killer coins and star fruits for you to be able to evolve Koichi. I do recommend to buy all of the hard bomb raid relics, since it will help you once you have bought every single one of them. Koichi Echo's damage types are physical and air. Oh no, I just saw level 30 having a Alucard. But anyway, that was everything for this video on the top 10 must-have units in this Halloween update. I hope this video helped you in some sort of way. Remember to subscribe and like, and I will see you in my next one. Goodbye everybody. Oh my god.